President John F. Kennedy once said, "Everywhere immigrants have enriched and strengthened the fabric of American life." Today on the Avon Talks podcast, we're shining a light on one of Avon's most active and community-minded organizations, the UNICO Italian American Club. UNICO has a long tradition of service, fellowship, and pride in Italian American heritage, and the Avon chapter is no exception. From scholarships and charitable giving to local events to bring people together, UNICO plays a meaningful role in the life of our town. Today I'm joined by the chapter's officers who will share the history behind the organization, the work they do here in the Farmington Valley, and how they continue to keep Italian culture and community service thriving in Avon. Okay, well, welcome to Avon Talks. This evening I have Jim Finelli, Joe Pavano, and Lauren Berry from Avon UNICO. Why don't you introduce yourselves first?
Hey, everybody. Nice to be here. Thanks for having us, Jim. I'm Joe Pavano, past president of Avon UNICO, probably, I think, a secretary for 8 years before that, and I went into the district. I was district governor. So right now, presently, I'm just a regular Avon UNICO member. Happy to be so, and I think I'm involved in the recruitment of new members. So that's what I do now. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And I think Joe undersold himself, too. He's actually on the board of directors, too.
Well, thank you.
For Avon UNICO now. So I'm Lauren Berry, and I'm the president of Avon UNICO. And I, like Joe, was secretary before president. And, I've been president since, I think, June. So fairly new.
And thanks, Lauren. And I'm Jim Finelli. Lauren is undersold herself, too, because she is the first female president of Avon UNICO.
Yes.
So
Right.
We'll have to talk about that.
Very exciting.
Right.
Yes.
Very exciting.
But no, my name is Jim Finelli. I'm a past president of Avon UNICO. Been a member since 1994 and currently on the board of directors and have run several committees over the years and just love the organization.
Well, welcome. Tell me when UNICO was founded and what's its mission.
Well, UNICO was founded, it's Joe Pavano. UNICO was founded in Connecticut, actually, Jim, in Waterbury, Connecticut, by a doctor, Dr. Fazzola. It was his dream to create an Italian-American service organization to engage in charitable works, support higher education, and perform patriotic deeds. It's actually a group of 15 men led by Anthony Fazzola back in 1922 in Waterbury, Connecticut. And it's still an existing chapter today.
And nationwide, there are how many districts, chapters, or how is it?
I believe we're spread across 27 states, hundreds of chapters, and dozens of districts. Avon UNICO has been in existence for 42 plus years. Our chapter is part of Connecticut District 2. And I think we have about 85 plus or minus members. So we're pretty lucky to be pretty active.
But nationwide, we're about 5,000 to 6,000
Right,
members.
Wow. Significant.
It's significant, but there's also
Lots of headroom.
19 million.
Yes, Italian Americans.
That's
yeah,
right. That's
yeah.
right.
And how many members in the Avon UNICO?
Avon UNICO is currently about 85 members.
What does the name UNICO stand for, and how does that mission guide your chapter's work today?
I'll take that one again, Joe Pavano. So UNICO stands for unity, neighborliness, integrity, charity, and opportunity. Actually, in Italian, unico means unique. Our mission is really service above self is our motto. And, it's basically we do good deeds, we make money, and every single dollar that we make goes towards our charities.
Yeah, we really, for operating expenses, we use our dues for that. Everything else, like Joe said, goes right to the charity. Right. It's very grassroots in that you see the money coming in and we're giving a check for that amount going out.
Well, that's noble. Tell me something about the history of Italian Americans in the town of Avon.
Sure. Can I go back on one thing first, Jim?
Sure.
And just address when the Avon UNICO chapter was established.
Please.
So 1984, similar to UNICO in national being organized in Waterbury, it was about 10 guys in Avon in 1984, founding members, none of which are still members. They've either passed away or they've moved on. We may have
that's right.
An honorary member.
Okay.
Well, Jimmy Ceruta's an honorary member. Yes,
Correct,
that's
correct. But he's moved out of the area. So 10 founding members in 1984 started this chapter, and it's grown over the years through lots of hard work to up over 85 people now.
Let's continue. Tell me something about the history of Italian Americans in the town of Avon.
Sure. So There's another Italian American organization in town called Prince Thomas of Savoy that we've actually done some co-sponsoring of events with. But they were organized in 1917 when many Italians were immigrating to the U.S. And a company in Simsbury called Ensign Bickford, which I know you're familiar with since you grew up in Simsbury, was looking for lots of employees to do fuse work and manufacturing type of work. And when at that era, between 1917 and 1920, there was a significant immigration of Italians to the U.S., and many of them ended up in Avon and Simsbury, working for Ensign Bickford and living in those little houses you see over on Columbus Boulevard,
Columbus
right
Circle,
off of Old Farms Road, where there's a rock there. And that started the train of many Italian immigrants coming to this area. And it continued on into a lot of masonry work, a lot of manufacturing work, and that was the beginning of Italian immigrants settling in central Connecticut.
So it was more industrial than farming.
It was.
Yeah, and
it was.
mason work and stone work and whatnot for their skilled laborers. Absolutely.
I know we had talked before about Columbus Circle to UNICO had.
Yeah, that rock there that says Columbus Circle. We have pictures in our archives of the crane, and they selected the rock from a quarry and they put it in place, and that was the UNICO chapter, the Avon UNICO chapter, that placed that stone there.
Do you know what year that was?
It was probably in the early '80s. I'm guessing.
Yeah. Okay, so relatively.
That time. Yeah.
But that Columbus Circle street was basically the housing for Ensign Bickford employees,
Yeah, they're smaller
which
houses.
ended up, they're smaller houses that ended
Big
up
Italian families in a small house.
being
Very
occupied by
common. Yes,
Italian
yes.
immigrants.
Do you think is there still an Italian population in that area?
There's an Italian population in the area, but I don't know specifically to that street because I know several people my kids had friends who lived there that were not Italian.
Sure.
So
Sure.
it's morphed over time.
Understood.
And it's in the same area where Prince Thomas
Right. It is
Savoy
right next door to Prince Thomas of Savoy, which is, again.
And that's the area, Columbus Circle, right in that
Yes.
area.
It's a road off of Old Farms Road, correct.
What do you think is unique about what Italian Americans bring to a service organization?
I think I could take that one.
Sure.
I think Italians immigrating into the U.S., they were very focused on helping each other and just to survive. Like language, we're one of the ethnic groups that really wasn't speaking English, like the Irish were, and helping each other to survive, very family-oriented.
Deep roots.
Deep roots. And preserving the heritage, but also assimilating, like looking to assimilate, but still preserve like the traditions and carry that on. And we do that really every meeting. We really focus on that. Every charity that we do, we really look towards. We want people engaged. We want to create like a family atmosphere. We want to give back. So
you would say even Italian communities at their source, at the roots, were service-oriented anyway, especially at the time toward fellow Italians. And
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I think so.
What does it mean to be the first woman president of UNICO? This is obviously for Lauren.
yeah, it's
No, Joe, you want to take that one?
No, Lauren,
What's your opinion?
Yeah.
Lauren, why don't you take this?
I'm really having a lot of fun with it. Like it's so these two were part of the membership committee, and I remember when they came to me suggesting that I run for president, I was very flattered. I was really honored. I think as the first woman president, I think it's surprising that it took that long to get the first woman
Absolutely,
president.
yeah.
I think some of the things that I might be looking at, it might be a little different perspective. Like we're starting a mentoring program right now, and I think maybe women are more nurturing and think about, helping people coming on board, newbies, like how can you mentor them? How can you keep them? We're doing some things about looking at to attract younger members, looking at families. Like if people can't come to a meeting, we added remote options. We're having a table that is really designed, a family table with Italian coloring books. Mm-hmm. So we're trying to do some things to attract younger members as well as just make sure, men, women, it's easy to attend and to be part of the UNICO family.
No, that's fortunate. As officers, what are your primary responsibilities within the chapter?
So I think I'll start, and maybe we can kick it to you want to start?
Yeah, sure. I mean, as I said, I was past president. I was a secretary. I've been on different committees. I think our job is to really try to motivate and get other people engaged to become involved. I mean, new members, sometimes it's hard. It's a two-edged sword. It's a volunteer organization, so it's volunteer. And that's good, and it's volunteer, but that's bad because it's hard to get people to get engaged. So you want to get people involved early. I'm on the membership committee. I'm on the Avon Citizen of the Year committee. I'm on the dance committee. So we try to get people involved in things that they're interested in.
And
can I just make one comment, and I'll compare and contrast. Between Prince Thomas of Savoy is a social club, whereas Avon UNICO is the part of the largest Italian American service organization in the country, where every dollar we raise, we give away. So our mission, while it's service above self, is to raise money to give it away to not-for-profits in the area that are deserving of it. And so being a member of Avon UNICO requires a lot of work, not just coming for dinner once a month. You need to be on a committee. You need to do some fundraising. You need to work at these events, whether it's the dinner dance or the veterans breakfast or any of the host of items that we'll probably talk about later on of things that we do.
One of the things that I've always said too, and maybe a lot of our members have heard it so many times, they're like, okay, here's Joe again. He's going to say the same thing he always says, is that I think a lot of our members are really, they recognize how blessed they are, and blessed as far as where they are in their life, their careers, etc. And now, once they recognize that they're blessed, they want to pass those blessings on, and that's in the form of charitable works.
And if I could add one more comment about the leadership team, I think both Joe and Jim and I are on other boards too. I think unique about the UNICO board, the prior presidents are invited to be board of directors, so you get the benefits of during their reign what worked well, what do we need to add, things that we may have forgotten if they haven't been around for a while, to kind of resurface that. So I love having the historical perspective, especially of people that are engaged today.
And that's a double-edged sword because Italians have strong personalities. So you can imagine, last night we had a board meeting, and there was a lot going on across the
we
table.
Get feisty
There's
sometimes.
There's a lot of love going on at that meeting.
Well, experience though too, right?
Yeah.
I mean, of course.
People care. That's good, right?
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Passion.
Yes.
Well, how do you decide which community needs to focus on at the beginning of every year or whenever you start thinking about those things?
Committee or community, did you say?
Community.
Community. So we're involved. We have a lot of our members, I think you know this, are in not just in Avon, but we're in Canton and around
Simsbury,
Farmington.
You had mentioned that, whatever if it needs elaboration on that.
Yeah. So we, at the beginning of the year, we have a budget, like who we help fund in the past. We look at that and we really assess if it's needed this year, if we want to continue that, as well as we set some money aside to entertain new requests. So we constantly get requests to help different groups. Some we might not be able to help that year, or maybe later on, but we really try to really, when we're approached, either give a quick answer on how we can help or help immediately. So.
And we have monies set aside from line item budgets. We have monies in a slush fund that when we're approached throughout the year, we have monies that we can give.
I would call it a contingency fund, not a slush fund.
There's no slush. There's not much slush.
Well, given the season and the weather outside tonight, I figured slush was
a contingency.
Contingency slush fund.
But the budget that we build that Lauren mentioned, there are a few not-for-profits that are national that came from UNICO National. Right. So the Jimmy V Foundation was started by UNICO National.
In fact, Tony Braco, past national president, and
who's a member and Avon still.
So, everyone's familiar with the Jimmy V Foundation.
Sure.
And we donate every year, every chapter, UNICO chapter, gives money from the money they raise to the Jimmy V Foundation, to Cooley's Anemia, which was another organization that affected a lot of Italians, and there's a third one.
Alzheimer's is one of them that we
Nationally?
fund too.
yeah.
Yep.
So, and the rest of them are pretty much local organizations. So, Gifts of Love, the Avon Food Pantry,
Salvation Army,
Fidelco
scholarships, supports,
dogs.
Fidelco dogs.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So many of those
It's a
things
long
would be
list.
like recurring too.
Yes.
Correct.
Not be
Absolutely.
unique to 2026. Or,
Correct. So probably 70% of the budget is sort of repeats or
Project Purple is
least.
another big one that we started too.
Right.
For pancreatic cancer.
And juvenile diabetes, we started that as well. So.
Yeah. McLean, Meals on Wheels.
McLean, Meals on Wheels. That's right.
Fantastic. How is UNICO's mission aligned with the government of the town of Avon in the past and the present?
Sure. So let me take that one. So the town came to us about 30 years ago with the idea of doing Avon Day. I don't know, Jim, if you remember Avon Day,
Yes.
but
Yes, I do.
townwide celebration, and you'd have vendors there and rides for kids and food and all that type of thing. The town, though, didn't have any money to budget for it, so they said,
Imagine that.
how about if Avon Unico, you guys want to be the sponsor of this, and your members can be the workers who organize it, and you guys can provide the seed money for Avon Day, and we'll reimburse you, or you'll be reimbursed from the Avon Day committee as they rent out vendor slots and collect money for different things. So we actually started Avon Day in the late 1980s, early 1990s, and every year we would put up $5,000-$6,000 of our money towards this, and we would organize it. And there'd be an Avon Day committee that had several people from Avon
We were all
Unico,
in
and
that
it had
together.
town members associated with it. And we ran Avon Day for many years until it got to the point where Avon Day got so big that
Hundreds of booths and
that
tents
it
and
was
rental
the
of
seed
tents
money
and
was like $20,000.
orchestras and
and
fireworks.
we were too small an organization.
It was exclusively a UNICO event then.
Well, it was
pretty
sponsored
close.
by Avon Unico, okay? And there were other organizations there, okay? And when it got to be the seed money was like 20 grand, we were like, we can't really afford to take the risk on that if it got rained out or whatever. So I went before the town council in the late 90s, and Billy Shea, who's now a member of Avon Unico, was not a member of Avon Unico then, but was on the town council. And I went before the council and said, look, this thing's been going on for the last 15 years very successfully, but Avon Unico cannot continue to be the seed money for this. We need the town of Avon to step up. And they did. And they made it a line item in their budget. And Avon Day continued until right as COVID hit, and it fell apart and never came back. But it was one of the biggest events in town.
It's unfortunate because,
Yeah.
as a matter, the last Avon Talks I did was exclusively about COVID, and the bottom fell out on so many events like that, unfortunately.
There's one other, if I can. Sorry.
Yeah,
You
no
can.
worries. Go ahead.
There's one other item, and that's connected to the town of Avon. And it was in concert with Avon Day where the town also wanted to recognize an Avon Citizen of the Year. So every year, and Joe Pavano is currently the chairman of the Avon Citizen of the Year Committee. And we just recently recognized
Jamie.
our most recent honoree as of a month ago is Jamie DePace, the former fire chief here in Avon. And the woman who's the head of the Historical Society, Terry Wilson, we're sitting in the basement of her building right now, was last year's honoree. In any case, Avon Unico took it upon themselves with the town of Avon to organize this committee that's also made up of Avon Unico members, but also other folks outside of Avon Unico. And every year the committee gets together and recognizes one individual who is a service above self type of individual volunteering in the town or in the surrounding communities.
How does the selection go for Avon Citizen of the Year? Is that whatever from Avon Town government and UNICO, or
No, the town government doesn't really, they don't have a say in it, even though there's a plaque that hangs in the town hall with all of the prior year winners' names on it. But the committee gets together, very rigorous process, and members of the committee surface up names. And we've got names that we've compiled from prior years that somebody who didn't make the cut necessarily, but they might the following year. So, and then we sit down and as a group, we decide who we think the best candidate is, and that's how the selection gets made.
how does membership in Avon UNICO work?
So we're really looking to attract new members. So if you know anyone, please put them our way. But anyone interested, sometimes we hunt them down. We have business cards. We're looking at who's looking at our Facebook site. If someone's interested, we invite them to come to a meeting, which is also a dinner.
How do they qualify?
How do they qualify?
Yeah, you have to be
Well,
Italian or married to
So, originally you had to be Italian or married to an Italian, and I think you had to be at least 25% Italian. But we've broadened the rules where at least the Avon chapter, if you are a fan, if you like Italians and Italian culture,
Who doesn't like Italian?
that's
Italian
right.
food.
Yes, Italian food, Italian culture.
Well, we created our own.
We have our own. We make them an Amici. We call it an Amici member. So you don't necessarily have to have Italian heritage. You can just appreciate Italians. And then they fill out an application. We vote on it, and we swear them in, and they're a member.
What qualities make someone a great fit for UNICO?
I think it really has to be someone that's seeking a balance in their life where giving back is an essential part of balance in their life. I think there's a lot of social organizations, different clubs, but you really have to enjoy the whole spirit of giving back and looking for ways we can help people. The biggest focus of our club are the giving back piece to the right charities and really doing what we can, as well as perpetuating Italian culture, Italian heritage, and we do that a lot.
Big time Italian heritage is a big part of it. I mean, a lot of us remember the Sunday dinners where we had the obligatory seats around the table with my great-grandmother in the kitchen, my grandfather at the head of the table with a jug of wine at his feet, homemade wine, and we all sat in assigned seats and whatnot. And it was a lot of heritage, a lot of culture, a lot of good food, a lot of great stories, and always a lot of great times.
Yeah. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, and in an area where I thought everyone was Italian. It wasn't until college that I really realized.
And New Britain, Connecticut is where I grew up, and that's where I thought everyone was Italian.
Same thing, yeah.
It's funny because I didn't know maybe until the 90s, and I grew up in the Farmington Valley, but people had told me that, like, when they had grown up, even in the 70s, there was any number of businesses that, were owned by people who spoke Italian as a first language.
That was very common in Brooklyn. Like, there were pizzerias, and a lot of the signs were in Italian, and and it's flipped. It's changed a lot, that area. But
what can you tell me about Aces for Kids, that part of the organization?
Aces for Kids. It's actually it's kind of like the Leo Club. Like the Leo Club is to the Lions Club as Aces is to UNICO. And I think it's 18 years and younger. It's like $12 a year to be a member. And as you might expect, when kids graduate and they move on to go to college and whatnot, they drop out. So we've had anywhere from, I think when my son was president of the Aces Club at Avon High School, Ryan Pavano, it was 2009. We had 65 ACES members that year.
And it's at the high school, or?
Yeah, we had a student, a teacher who represented the faculty that did it. And we brought food in, and we talked about certain Italian things and culture and whatnot. And it was a club. It was a camaraderie, and it was great. But then the next year, maybe 45 of those kids graduated because they were friends with Ryan, the president. And then the next year it was less. I think right now we have only a handful.
We probably need to focus
But it
more.
encourages youth membership, and that later on, after they get out of college, they may come back.
Do you find that that's useful? I mean, there's any number of young people that continue what was started in ACES?
Yeah, so my son, who was in the ACES program, left, went to college, moved out of the area, and now is a member of Stamford Unico.
He's an officer.
He's an officer.
I love that. Yeah.
Beautiful.
That's a lot of it is history and heritage and growing up. I've been a member of UNICO since 1987, when I got out of optometry school. My grandfather was a member, and my father was a member, and I was the third generation member. My brother and I, he just got out of law school. I was up at optometry school, and we were in the New Britain chapter for many years. And then when we moved to Avon, I transferred my membership from New Britain to Avon Unico.
As a service organization, tell me something about charitable contribution and events that UNICO has in Avon.
Well, I think Jim mentioned, I'll take the first part of this. I think Jim mentioned earlier that we are one of the largest charitable organizations in Avon here. We recognize and love all of our brethren and sisters in the Lions Club, et cetera, and Kiwanis, Dollars for Scholars, all the groups that raise money. But we take our monies, as I said earlier, we make our money, we give it all away. And I think one of the big things we do is scholarships. At Avon High School, area schools, Avon Old Farm School, could be Northwest Catholic School. And what was the total?
Simsbury
High
too.
School.
Yeah.
It's about $10,000
Annually,
That's
yeah.
been we've been
Significant.
doing scholarships since the very beginning of
Absolutely,
our chapter.
it's
that
a
was
good
one of
chunk of money.
the tenets of it. Yeah.
It's not a $200 or $250 scholarship. Some of them are substantial at like $3,500. The William.
I think 4,000.
$4,000 was
yeah.
the William Graffio scholarship that it was a guy that was a wonderful member who's passed away years ago. Because of his service above self, we named our lead scholarship after the William Graffio scholarship.
Yeah, and Tom Gugliotti was the lead, the chair for that within
That's right.
Avon Unico. Did such a good job of going to all the high schools, getting to know them, telling them, really promoting it.
Right. I think originally you had to be that you lived in Avon and or you were in Avon resident and or went to Avon High School, and then we kind of morphed into, well, you lived in Avon, but you went to Avon Old Farms, that's fine. Or if you lived in Avon, you went to Northwest Catholic, that's fine. And then as we grew as a chapter into, getting Canton members or Simsbury members or Southington members or Canton, Farmington members, we just said, well, let's do the area high schools, and it kind of morphed into that. So it's a pretty big scholarship program.
Yeah. So 3 or 4 kids are getting scholarships every year from us, totaling upwards of $10,000.
And then,
easily.
and they're all like above 4.0. The grades, the
It's
extracurricular,
just
the
amazing.
service in the community. It's just, these are some outstanding.
The
kids.
essays that you read just bring a tear to your eye. They're just fantastic kids.
Really valuable, really. How about involvement with Connecticut Children's Hospital?
So I think I'll take that one.
Yes, you should.
So about 12 years ago, Joe, 11 years ago, we started a spring dinner dance that we host every year at the Farmington Club. It was at the Golf Club of Avon one year, and it may have been at one other location. And we get anywhere from 200 to 250 people with a live band, and we raise the bulk of the money that we raise from that event, we've earmarked for Connecticut Children's Hospital. And over the 10-year period, we've given them over $200,000. That's been probably our main beneficiary.
Right.
This past year, we gave them a check for $32,000.
Right.
So it's grown over time, and it's one of 3 or 4. And Lauren can, as we go through some of these other ones on here, where there's a specific benefit that we have that we give to 2 or 3 different organizations. And it's not a line item in our budget. It's like whatever we make, we're going to give X amount to that particular organization. So it's very well attended.
It's fun.
It's
a
a
great
fun
dance,
event.
silent auction.
Exactly, and we get
national table comes from all over.
we
the
get a
country.
family,
Great
a grateful family from Connecticut Children's that comes with their child who's been treated there, and they do a mission moment at the beginning of the event, and there's not a dry eye in the place as you're listening to these stories. And back to where Joe mentioned how blessed we all are, and there's other people who go through a lot of hardship, and so it's a wonderful organization.
How about your golf tournament? Tell me a little bit about
Golf
that.
tournament's been going on for probably most of the 30-plus years. We've had it in area golf clubs in the area. We've had it at Tunxis. We've had it at Farmington Country Club. We have it at Avon Golf Club. This past particular year, I think we netted about $22,000. This is the 1 year, which is pretty substantial.
Sure.
One fun thing that we did this year, which was great, I think we had a maximum amount of golfers. We had a helicopter drop, a hole-in-one helicopter drop, where a helicopter flew over the 18th hole, and everybody purchased, like a raffle, 3 balls for X amount of dollars, and the helicopter dropped the balls, and they landed, and whoever landed in the hole, that person won. So
Visually, it's very cool to see.
it was just a tremendous day, yeah.
Yeah.
And it never rains at an Avon UNICO golf
Please don't
tournament.
jinx
I'm
us.
sure.
Yeah.
So the other events.
Yeah, so we also do a comedy night that's coming up in January 31st, and the comedy night has about four different comedians, good variety.
New York style comedians.
Yeah, like top headliners.
yeah.
They pretty impressive, and we. The recipient of the charity on this one is Project Purple, which we have prior Eastern Division director and prior president Dominic Lucenti, Cindy Lucenti is. So we have a member that is big in Project Purple, that personally pancreatic cancer.
I was going to ask
survivor.
about that because you had
Yes.
mentioned that earlier, and it seems like that's all charities are important. but that
And I
one is
believe Project
Yes.
Purple was started also by a UNICO from Connecticut, and that spread
Oh, I didn't know
throughout the
that.
country.
Oh,
Yes.
I
And
didn't
it
know
was
that.
a Connecticut,
Good info.
Connecticut
Yeah.
UNICO.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that so comedy night is coming up. We also have
where is comedy night? Where do you normally have that?
it's the Polo Club, Farmington Polo Club,
Polo Club.
Sure.
and veterans
January 31st?
January 31st. Yes, we'll put in a few plugs for that, please. And please,
And they can
if
go
you're-
to our Facebook page as well.
Facebook page, and we'll be sending out emails on that. We will have an Instagram page soon too. So, Veterans Breakfast. I'll just hit another one. We this was different for us. We did it. We teamed up with Prince Thomas of Savoy, so we did a joint one, and they were fabulous. They have a building, and they also were excellent cooks.
Kitchen,
Yes,
facilities.
they were the
beautiful.
best to work with. We'll be working with them more if they'd like to work together. And
It was just a minor fire.
Yeah, yeah, it was very slight. Yeah.
Slight fire.
He's not kidding, but it was they quickly recovered and didn't miss a beat. But
No one was harmed.
no, we served about 125 veterans. I was
Veterans come free, right?
Yes, veterans free, and others we asked for a $10 donation. And it was great hearing the stories, getting to know them. I think the veterans had a great time. We had 4 different types of quiche and a whole. There were healthy options. The spread was incredible.
Tremendous food.
And it's a good example of giving back because that's not really a fundraiser. We're basically paying for the veterans.
to
Sure.
have their
To
break.
Is
recognize
that
them.
aligned with a particular veterans group or
No.
it's open season?
I mean, there's Go
Open
ahead.
season. The VFW, there was a lot of members there. It seemed like the majority of members, my dad was in Vietnam, and the majority were Vietnam vets. But, not really any vets in the area. We were trying to solicit as many as we can.
I don't believe we have any vets in Avon UNICO right now, but I know we've had.
have had,
We've had
yes.
Bob Galliette. We've had Bill Graffio.
Bill Graffio, yeah.
But not presently. But yeah, it's basically about giving back.
I think each of you can answer this question if you like, or whoever would like. Can you please share a recent project or fundraiser you're especially proud of?
So I can start with that one.
Please go ahead.
So the dinner dance.
Oh, he's going to take that one. Of course he is. That was the one I was going to talk about.
It was
Go right ahead.
Since it was my idea to do the dinner dance back, 12 years ago.
If you look back at the notes, I'm not really sure that's
Okay.
accurate.
This is it's strong, like I said, strong personalities. But
That's why I sit in the middle.
so,
Being the
so
musician,
we started.
Yeah.
Do you have a muzzle that we can? This is why we need separate mics. So you can just turn his off. So, no. So 12
Nothing
years
wrong with
ago,
having fun.
we started this the dinner dance to support Connecticut Children's, and I was on the board of Connecticut Children's Medical Center at the time, and spent 9 years on the board, and then I had to roll off after with term limits, and I went on to the foundation board. And as of last week, I'm now the chair of the Connecticut Children's Foundation Board. So I take particular pride in that event. Every year, the money that we raise and the people that come, the kids that are supported by it. So.
And I'll just add that he's a little bit too humble. Really, he's one of the main reasons why that event is so successful. I mean, Jim has so many contacts in the business world with people that were just sponsoring tables and sponsoring big prizes, and we could not do the dollar amounts of the money and the success without Jim Finelli.
We gave him the Rainmaker Award.
Yeah, he did get
He
an
makes
award.
it rain.
We gave him an award for that, so that's enough about Jim Finelli right now.
Yes. And I was going to say, just a shout out, like Callie Benios and the new one, Paula Lisitra, for the chairs of the dance too.
Right.
Like the work that goes into it.
Right.
It's a beautiful event. Like it's people show up and they're just kind of wowed.
75 silent auction type baskets, live auction baskets, a thermometer type. It's just a lot of work, but a lot of good work.
It's just like having a female president. You know, the organization has been elevated. When Joe and I and Doug Hope started this 12 years ago,
Right, we were in the back room of La Trattoria.
Yeah, and it was a bunch of guys that had no clue about, decorations or baskets or fundraisers. Once we got more people involved, and definitely, when Callie got involved and other women, they stepped up the look of this whole dinner dance.
Yes,
and the
definitely a
quality
labor
of
of
it.
love.
And
the
decorations, and it's unbelievable. Great job.
Well, it sounds like your hard work has paid off. Not to be redundant, but I suppose this is more an Italian-oriented question. How does a chapter celebrate and preserve Italian American heritage?
This is Laura.
Yeah, this is
all
fun.
yours.
So we've done a variety of things. We're always looking for different ways to incorporate it. We had with District, we had a trip, a museum trip to Manhattan in the Little Italy section, and we went to the Italian American Museum. We got tours of Little Italy and really heard about the history of the different streets. And I didn't realize this, maybe you guys did, about like how each street was linked to a different province in Italy. Like there was a Calabria street, there was a Sicily street. Any way that we can kind of share the history and the learnings, we look at that, and we try to make it fun. We've been doing Italian trivia at a few meetings, where at our Christmas, the map, we got a very large, it's probably like half the size, maybe a third the size of that. We have a map.
This is like radio, though. No one's
I'm
gonna see
sorry.
this.
So it's
We're like
yes,
a 6
good
by
point.
6 kind
Thank
of.
you, thank you, thank you.
It's a map of Italy, by the way.
It's a map of Italy with all the provinces in Italy, and we put a pin where everyone's
Where our
from,
family's
and
from.
we track it so you could see. You might not know, like Jim and I might both have relatives in Matera. You not know that. So we do that. We're gonna have more trivia, Italian and Christmas trivia at the next party. We've sponsored scholars in doing projects with Trinity College for like preservation in Italy of different structures.
We had a
and
student
things.
from, I think it was University of Hartford, that did a dissertation in one of the area, Lake Como area.
Yeah.
Remember he came and
Yes.
presented. And then what about
What is Al's role? What's Ish?
Al's
What's
Ishiku.
I can't even remember that acronym.
He's basically, so we have someone in our chapter, Al DeGusto, who is focused on a national basis, not just our chapter, on really promoting Italian heritage and looking for different ways to do that. And he was involved with that scholar, and he's involved in trivia and helping with the museum trip.
But
and
you also
everything.
brought someone else in to encourage
Oh, yeah.
Italian citizenship.
Mike Dandini. So he's doing a 3-part series on Italian citizenship. He following his journey to get Italian citizenship and sharing it with the group.
He was sharing all the nuances and who to go to.
And he's
how
an
to get
attorney,
through,
so yeah, helping with the legal.
which route would be best to acquire dual citizenship.
Yeah.
Do you have any long-standing traditions that newer members might not know about?
Well, I mean, the meetings are all pretty structured. I mean, we have
The pledge and the
UNICO,
prayer.
we do the Pledge of Allegiance. We do a UNICO prayer. All the committees.
I
are,
think maybe the Avon Citizen of the Year. They until we
Right.
do it, they're probably not that familiar with it. Unless they've been involved in town. But we've taken in new members recently from other chapters that have relocated to the area, and that's probably not something that was done in another chapter. So that might be something that they wouldn't be aware of necessarily. But
Is there a moment from and again, this one is open forum. I think all of you probably have an opinion on this. Is there a moment in your time in UNICO that really captures what the organization means to you?
Oh, I have one. Okay, I'll start. So the Christmas party. It was the Christmas party 2022. So it was post-COVID. So we were talking earlier offline, a lot of things shut down during COVID. And so it was a time people were getting back in, people were celebrating. And I joined UNICO. One of the things growing up in Brooklyn, New York, very Italian area, I had kind of a hunger for, I wanted kind of an Italian fix. And I always felt like giving back, like you need balance in your life. You need to give back. So we're at this Christmas party. Everyone the people aren't just sitting at the tables. They're all mingling. We're collecting suits for a charitable organization. We also have toys everywhere because we're partnering with Dish and That to do their toy drive. And so and people were just happy and enjoying like seeing each other, not hunkering down because of COVID. And it just, between the Italian focus, I felt like I was in a family atmosphere. It kind of touched me. So how about you guys?
go ahead, Joe.
Well, I mean, for me, it was really a familial thing from the very beginning. I mean, when I got out of optometry school, I said this earlier, my grandfather, oil man, South Main Street, New Britain, 2 oil trucks, Shuttle Meadow. They started out as an ice digging, storing facility, and then they got into oil business. And they were involved immediately in UNICO, and he got my father involved in it. My father was a school teacher, Board of Education president. His name's on the plaque at New Britain High School. West Hartford public school teacher for 37 years. He was involved heavily in UNICO, got myself involved in it, my brother involved in it. So for me, it was almost like, I'm starting to well up here. It was just really a family thing. It was just great. And that's what really drew me into it.
So I'll close it off with it's not an event we currently do, but we used to do a pasta dinner.
Yeah.
And we probably haven't done it now for 7, 8, 9 years, something like that. And it was another give back to the community type of thing because he didn't make a lot of money off of it, but it was one of the fundraisers we did. But it took a lot of work. So the membership at the time was maybe 15 to 20 members.
Oh,
and, there would be 10 or 12 guys. At the time, there weren't a lot of women involved. And we'd be at the Avon Senior Center, and we'd be making not making the pasta. We were cooking the pasta. We didn't actually make the pasta. But we did at one point make the meatballs, and then we started buying the meatballs. But if you see, 10 or 12 guys in the kitchen at the senior center at the Avon Senior Center, it really gives you a sense of community of people working together.
Yeah.
And that was my first inkling of, boy, this is really something that I want to be a part of.
It must have been funny, too. It was probably humorous.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
And then, we've done special events like, what's the name of that community center over across town? It's like next to a pond where we had everyone make their family's pasta fazool recipe.
Ah.
So we have
Countryside Park.
That's right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
With shared recipes, like
Yeah,
family
no.
recipes?
So we made I made my family's pasta fazool, and then another member. So we had 6 or 7, and then we had a tasting, and we decided which one was going to be the best.
We may need to do something.
And we
like
did that with
again.
sauce,
Yeah.
too.
We did it with
another
sauce,
one
another one with sauce.
Or gravy, depending on where you're from.
And then I
Yeah.
think we actually did a gin tasting at one point, but we decided that what makes the gin the best is the tonic that you put in with it. So it's not about the gin.
Yeah. But we should do another. We should do like a meatball cook-off.
Absolutely, yeah. It's all about getting together, recognizing, that the familial ties are similar, our experiences are similar, and moving forward, we'd love to have anybody that wants to join. We'd love to have you guys come in. Italian heritage is a key.
Yes,
To be married to an
absolutely.
Italian, let's be straight
Yes.
on that. We do have some folks come in as Amici members, but generally speaking, national would tell you that you have to have Italian heritage and or be married to an Italian.
What are your goals for the chapter over the next few years?
Oh, that's our president.
Okay, yeah. So membership So we have about 85 members. We want to engage them more because I think any organization, you have kind of a core group that attends and does a lot of things, and we're looking for ways like what would bring them back more and reaching out to them. So membership engagement, increasing our membership overall. Also kind of looking for more diversity in memberships. I know, we've got baby boomers, we've got Gen Xers, but probably on the Gen Z and on the millenniums, we're light there. So we want the organization to last.
I don't know what she's talking about, Jim. What are all these terms that she speaks of?
Okay, we'll have a lesson later. But just to kind of, we want the organization, we want to perpetuate it, we want it to be around for a very long time, long after we're all
And it
here.
will be.
So, and I do want to give a shout out to our past president, immediate past president, before Lauren, who I think there wasn't anybody in between you and Dominic, was there?
Dom Lucente, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's just Dom. Yeah. So Dom Lucente, who was the president for I think maybe 3 years, and then became district governor, and now is the regional district
Half of the
governor.
country, Eastern.
Eastern Regional
But
District.
Yeah.
Dominic was instrumental in taking us from roughly 35 members up to 85 members over the last 2 or 3 years. So Lauren's job is to now figure out how to keep them engaged.
Keep them engaged and get more.
And
Like
get more.
keep getting more. And we've gotten, we probably got, just in the last 2 months, we've got 5 new
And the
members.
challenge is, as we said this earlier, it's a volunteer organization. We're all here to volunteer, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
And we got to get people involved and engaged.
And one challenging thing, we don't have a building. So a lot of organizations have a building. So you hang out in the building.
Structure, yeah.
Yes, a structure. So we have to create a sense of community with the people wherever we are. So it's very...
Can you tell the listeners where we meet and when we meet?
Yes, we meet on the third Wednesday of every month, and we meet at different locations. So we meet, probably the best thing to do is go to our Facebook page, Avon UNICO Facebook page, and you'll see information about what restaurant we'll be meeting at. We'll be meeting at a restaurant, a country club, or possibly Prince Thomas Savoy. We'll see.
The North House we've been, with Farmington
Yes.
Country Club.
Soma
we've been,
Grill.
Soma Grill.
Yeah, we've really
Try to
local
mix it up.
restaurants.
All pretty close.
We were
so-
for years at La Trattoria in Canton, which
Of course.
has closed. but
15
there
of us in a little room, and that was it. And that
Yeah.
was pretty much 20 members, 15 came to the meetings.
We
in
did
the old days.
Mercado. Yeah, now we're at a
Right.
size where we can't meet
can't
just
just go to
anywhere.
any
We have to
restaurant.
have at least,
Which is good.
at least like 35 to 40.
Leads me nicely into the next question. What challenges face UNICO and organizations like it moving forward?
I think the lack of the building and the sense of community is one challenge, but other challenges, just it seems like a lot of organizations, especially focused on historical type things like Italian heritage, the younger generations, it's hard to attract the members. So I think our focus, again, we want this to be around a long time, really attracting. We want to engage existing members. We want to get new members of all ages, but really thinking about what do we need to do to position ourselves where it's attractive for.
And it's a
the younger.
generational thing for just attracting volunteers to any organization.
Yeah, it's
We're
not
all
just
part
UNICO
of
that
multiple
has this.
not-for-profits, and getting people to want to volunteer is very challenging.
Agree. And things like we've had social media presidents with Facebook, but a lot of Gen Zers don't use Facebook. They
Sure.
use Instagram. So we'll have something on Instagram
So we're going to
soon.
expand to Instagram.
Yes,
Good.
absolutely.
Good.
What would you say to somebody in Avon who's curious about joining UNICO but hasn't taken the first step?
Come to a meeting.
Well,
Come.
first, we're going to
come see
pay
what
for
it's
your
like.
dinner.
We
You're
do.
going to pay for your drink, and you'll be our guest the
And
first
it's
meeting.
great Italian. We usually have great Italian food wherever
Great
we
Italian
go.
food.
Well, I thank y'all for coming out. I mean, it's
Thank
it's
you.
been a lot of fun, and I've learned So much about UNICO and Avon. That wraps up our conversation with the officers of Avon UNICO Italian American Club. Their commitment to service, tradition, and community spirit is a great example of how volunteer organizations can enrich a town like ours. If you'd like to learn more, get involved, or support their work, be sure to check out UNICO's activities on Facebook or pay attention to their local events and outreach efforts throughout the year. Thanks for listening. Until next time, I'm Jim Pabish, and this has been Avon Talks, where we bring history home one story at a time.